Thanksgiving, 2024, the house smelled like turkey, and disappointment, mostly disappointment. I stood in the kitchen doorway, watching Mom arrange dinner rolls in a basket. Her movements were sharp, aggressive. Each roll placed with barely contained fury. "Are you just going to stand there?" she snapped without looking at me. "I was asking if you needed help. I needed help 3 hours ago when you were supposed to arrive. Not now when everything's already done." I checked my phone. 2:47 p.m. Dinner's at 3. I'm early. Early would have been noon. When your brother got here, when your sister got here, when everyone who actually cares about family got here. I said nothing. Experience had taught me that silence was safer. Mom grabbed the basket and brushed past me into the dining room. 23 people crowded around 2 tables pushed together. My brother Derek and his wife Amanda, my sister Kelly and her husband, Marcus, aunts, uncles, cousins, Mom's book club, friends. The neighbors from 2 doors down. Everyone turned to look at me. "Oh, good," Mom announced. Marissa finally decided to join us. "Hi everyone," I said. A few people murmured greetings. Most looked uncomfortable. "Sit down," Mom said. "We're about to say grace." I looked for an empty chair. There was one far end of the table, wedged between Aunt Carol's massive purse and the wall. I'd have to turn sideways to sit. "There?" I asked. "Is there a problem?" Mom's voice could cut glass. "No? It's fine." I squeezed into the seat. Aunt Carol didn't move her purse. Mom stood at the head of the table. "Let's give thanks." Derek, my brother, stood, cleared his throat. "Dear Lord, thank you for this beautiful home, for this wonderful meal, and for family who shows up when they're supposed to." A few people glanced at me. "Thank you for Mom's strength and resilience," Derek continued. "For her ability to keep this household running despite everything she's been through, for her sacrifices and her unwavering dedication to family." "Amen. Amen," everyone echoed. I didn't say it. Food started moving around the table. Turkey, mashed potatoes, green bean casserole, cranberry sauce. By the time the bowls reached me, portions were small. I took what was left. "So, Marissa and Kara," said loudly, "still working at that dot? What was it again?" "Coffee shop. I'm a barista supervisor at Grounds Coffee." "Yes. How nice." Her tone suggested it wasn't nice at all. "And you're, what, 31 now?" 32. 32. She looked around the table. Goodness. Good. Most people have real careers by 32. 32. I have a career. Making coffee. Mom set down her fork. "Yes, Marissa, we're all very impressed by your coffee-making skills." Kelly laughed. Marcus didn't look up from his plate. "I manage a team of 15, I said quietly. "I do scheduling, inventory, staff training. How much do you make?" Derek asked. "If you don't mind me asking." I minded, no. "Because I was thinking," Derek continued, "you could probably use some career advice. I could introduce you to people at my firm. Get you into something more, professional." "I'm fine. Thanks. Are you though?" Mom leaned forward. "Because from where I'm sitting, a 32-year-old barista living in a studio apartment doesn't scream fine." Heat crept up my neck. "My apartment is perfectly adequate." "It's 400 square feet," Kelly said. "I've seen storage units bigger." "At least I'm not living with Mom," I said. The table went silent. Derek's face reddened. He'd moved back home 6 months ago after his startup collapsed. Amanda had her jaw clenched. "Derek is helping me with house projects," Mom said coldly. "He's being a good son. Unlike some children who abandon their parents. I didn't abandon anyone. You moved 2 hours away. You visit 4 times a year. You couldn't even show up on time today." "I'm 15 minutes early. You're 4 hours late." Mom's voice rose. "Everyone else came at noon. Everyone else helped prepare. Everyone else contributed something. What did you bring, Marissa? What's your contribution?" I reached for my bag. Pulled out a bottle of wine. I brought this. Mom looked at the label, $12.99 from Trader Joe's. How generous! It's a nice Pinot. Kelly brought a $60 bottle of Napa Cab. Derek paid for the turkey at 22-pound organic bird for $127. Marcus brought champagne, real champagne, not Prosecco. Mom shoved my wine bottle aside. But sure. Your $13 wine is a real contribution. I set down my fork. Appetite gone. I'm just saying, Mom continued, addressing the table now. Some children understand what family means. Some children show up, support their parents, help when times are hard. And some, she looked at me, some decide making coffee is more important than family. That's not fair, I said. Isn't it? When's the last time you asked how I'm doing? When's the last time you offered to help with bills, with groceries, with anything? I've offered half-hearted offers don't count. I need real help. This house doesn't run itself. The mortgage doesn't pay itself. Property taxes aren't cheap. But you wouldn't know anything about that, would you? Living in your tiny rental, no responsibilities, no obligations. Aunt Carol nodded along. Homeownership is a huge burden. Exactly, Mom said. Do you know what my monthly expenses are? Do you have any idea what it costs to maintain a 4-bedroom house? I know it's expensive. You know nothing. You've never owned property. Never dealt with a mortgage, insurance, repairs. You make coffee for a living and live like a college student. Derek piled more potatoes on his plates. Mom's right, Risa. You need to grow up. I am grown up, you're a barista. So, that's a job for 20-year-olds, not someone in their 30s. Kelly jumped in. Derek's just trying to help. We all are. You could be doing so much more with your life. I like my life. Do you? Mom's laugh was bitter. You like living alone in a tiny apartment, making minimum wage, going nowhere? I make more than minimum, barely. Mom stood, started collecting plates aggressively. You know what I think? I think you're scared. Scared of responsibility. Scared of commitment. Scared of actually trying to build something meaningful. That's not true. Then prove it. Get a real job. Buy property. Start acting like an adult. She grabbed my plate still half full and headed to the kitchen. But you won't. Because that would require actual effort. I sat there, cheeks burning, while 23 people avoided eye contact. Dessert was served. Pumpkin pie, apple pie, pecan pie. I got a sliver of pumpkin de piece with the broken crust. At 5:30, people started leaving. Hugs, thanks, promises to do this again soon. I helped carry dishes to the kitchen. Mom was at the sink, scrubbing a roasting pan with violent intensity. Mom, I'm going to head out, of course you are. She didn't turn around. Can't wait to get away from your terrible family. That's not just go, Marisa. You've done your duty. Showed your face. You can feel good about yourself for another 4 months. Why are you like this? She spun around. Like what? Like, ... This angry, mean. You've been attacking me all day. I'm not attacking you. I'm being honest. Something you clearly can't handle. You called me a failure in front of 23 people. I did no such thing. You said, I have no career, no property, no responsibilities. Because it's true. Mom slammed the pan down. Look at you, 32 years old, with nothing to show for it. Do you know how embarrassing that is? Do you know what people say? What people? Everyone. Carol asks what you're doing. The neighbors ask. My book club asks. And I have to stand there and say, oh, Marisa makes coffee? Do you know how that feels? I'm sorry my job embarrasses you. It's not just the job. It's everything. The apartment, the car. The fact that you couldn't even bother to dress nicely today. She gestured at my outfit, jeans and a sweater. Everyone else wore something presentable. You showed up looking like you just rolled out of bed. These are nice jeans. They're $30 Old Navy jeans. Kelly wore a $200 dress. There's a difference. I grabbed my coat. I'm leaving. Finally, something we can agree on. Mom, I don't know what I did to make you hate me. I don't hate you. Her voice cracked. I'm disappointed. There's a difference. Feels the same from here. Well, maybe if you tried harder, I'd have less to be disappointed about. Derek appeared in the doorway. Everything okay? Your sister is leaving, Mom said, storming out because she can't handle constructive criticism. I'm not storming. I'm choosing not to be verbally abused. Abused? Mom laughed. Now I'm abusive because I dared to tell you the truth. The truth is, you've been cruel to me for years, and I'm done pretending it's normal. Oh, please no. I'm actually done. I looked at Derek. Enjoy living at home. Enjoy playing the perfect son. I hope it makes you happy. Marissa, he started. And Mom? I turned back. This house, these expenses you keep complaining about. Maybe you should check your mortgage statements. What's that supposed to mean? Just check them. I walked out, got in my Cara, 5-year-old Honda Civic that ran perfectly fine and drove away. My phone started buzzing before I hit the highway. Derek, what did you mean about mortgage statements? Kelly, why are you always so dramatic? Mom, don't you dare threaten me. I turned off my phone. 3 days later, Mom called. I let it go to voicemail. Marisa, it's Mom. We need to talk. Call me back immediately. I deleted it. She called again an hour later. Left another message. Marissa, I'm serious. Call me. This is important. Primera ma. The coffee stared at my phone. A text from Derek. Mom is freaking out about something with the mortgage. Did you do something? Another from Kelly. Whatever you said to Mom, fix it. She's having a breakdown. I sipped my coffee. Said nothing. On the 4th day, Mom showed up at my apartment. I opened the door to find her standing there. Makeup smudged, hair unbrushed. She was holding a stack of papers. What did you do? She demanded. Hello, Mom. Don't hello, Mom. Me? What did you? I don't know what you're talking about. She shoved the papers at me. These? Explain these. I took them. Mortgage statements. 5 years worth. Every single payment marked, paid by Marissa Chun account, hashtag XXXX4729. Where did these come from? Mom's voice shook. Your mortgage company, I assume? You've been paying my mortgage? Yes. For how long? I flipped through the statements. 5 years, 2 months. Since you lost your job at the accounting firm, Mom's face went white. That's not possible. It's extremely possible. I have bank statements to prove it. But how? You make minimum wage. I don't make minimum wage. I make $47,000 as a supervisor. But that's not where the mortgage payments come from. Then where? I gestured to my tiny apartment. Why don't you come in? She did. Looked around at my space, 400 square feet. Like Kelly said, Murphy bed, mini kitchen, one window overlooking the parking lot. This is depressing, Mom said. It's cheap. That's the point. The point. The point. Sit down, Mom. She sat on my only chair. I stayed standing. When I was 23, I said, I started investing. Just small amounts at first. $50 a month, then $100. I read books, took online courses, learned everything I could about the stock market. You're a barista. I'm a barista who invested $43,000 over 9 years and turned it into $340,000. Mom's mouth opened. Nothing came out. I got lucky with a few tech stocks. Amazon at $900. Apple at $120. Tesla at $45. I bought before the splits, before the boom. Then I diversified into index funds, $340,000, $340,000 in liquid investments. But that's not everything. I pulled up my phone, showed her my investment app, total portfolio value, $487,000, $293. Mom stared at the screen. This is fake. It's not fake. Here's my bank account. I pulled up another app. Checking account balance, $23,847. Here's my brokerage account. Here's my Roth IRA. Here's my high-yield savings. She looked at each one. Her hands trembled. The mortgage payments, I said, come from my dividend income. About $1,850 a month, on average. Your mortgage is $1,640. I've been covering it automatically since June 2019. Why? Because you lost your job. Because you were stressed about money. Because I could help. But you never said anything. You never asked. Mom set down the phone. I don't understand. If you have all this money, why do you live here? Why do you work as a barista? Why do you drive that awful car? The car runs fine. The apartment is affordable. And I like being a barista, but you could do anything. I am doing what I want. I sat on the edge of my Murphy bed. Mom, I don't need a big house or fancy clothes. I don't need people to be impressed by my job title. I just need enough to live comfortably and help people I care about. You've been paying my mortgage for 5 years. Yes, that's over $100,000. $98,400 to be exact, plus property taxes. I've been covering those too. Mom's face crumpled. The property taxes? $8,200 a year. For 5 years? That's $41,000. Yes. So you've given me $139,000? I haven't given you anything. I've invested in keeping you housed and stable. Tears started down Mom's cheeks. I called you a failure. Yes. I said you had nothing to show for your life. You did. I said you were an embarrassment multiple times. Oh my God. She covered her face. Marissa, I'm so sorry. I said nothing. Primera de no idea. I thought you were just scraping by. I thought you needed help, not that you were helping me. You never asked about my life. You just assumed. Because you live in this tiny apartment. Because you drive an old car. Because you're a barista. Those were choices, Mom. Not failures. She looked around my apartment again, seeing it differently now. Why did you choose this? Because after rent, utilities, and expenses, I can still save $2,000 a month. And I don't need more space than this. What would I do with 4 bedrooms? But people think I don't care what people think. I care what people think, she whispered. I know. That's the difference between us. Mom wiped her eyes. Mascara smudged across her cheeks. Derek lives with me. Rent-free. Kelly borrowed $15,000 last year for her kitchen renovation. Neither of them has paid me back. I know. How do you know? You complain about it. Every time I visit, how Derek doesn't help with groceries. How Kelly only calls when she needs something, but I never complained about you. No. You just insulted me instead. She flinched. That's fair. We sat in silence. Why didn't you tell me? Mom asked finally. About the money. About helping with the mortgage. Because I didn't want you to treat me differently. I wanted you to love me for who I am, not what I have. And I failed that test. Spectacularly. More tears. I'm so sorry, Marissa. I'm so sorry. Are you sorry you said it? Or sorry you were wrong? She thought about that. But? That's honest. At least. Mom stood, paced my tiny apartment 3 steps, one way, 3 steps back. What happens now? What do you mean? With the mortgage? Are you going to stop paying it? Because I can't afford, I'm not going to stop. She turned. Why not? Because you're my mother. Because despite everything, I don't want you to lose your house. Even after I treated you like garbage, even then, I don't deserve that. Probably not. But I'm not doing it because you deserve it. I'm doing it because I can, and because it's the right thing to do. Mom sank back into the chair. I don't know what to say. You could start with treating me like a human being. I promise. You could stop comparing me to Derek and Kelly. Done. You could stop being embarrassed by my job. I'm not embarrassed, she stopped at my look. Okay. I was embarrassed, but I won't be anymore. And you could maybe, just maybe, consider that success looks different for different people. Mom nodded slowly. You're successful, more successful than I realized. I'm successful because I'm happy, Mom. Not because of the money. The money is just a tool. Happiness is the goal. Are you happy? I thought about it. Mostly, except when I visit home and get treated like a disappointment. She winced. That's going to change. We'll see. Mom stood. Can I hug you? I guess. She crossed the tiny apartment, wrapped her arms around me. She smelled like the lavender soap she'd used my whole life. I'm sorry, she whispered. For all of it. For every cruel word. For every comparison. For making you feel small. Okay. I love you. I should have said that more. You should have. I'll do better. I hope so. She pulled back. Can I tell Derek and Kelly? About the mortgage? If you want. They need to know. They need to understand that their sister, their supposedly unsuccessful sister, has been keeping me afloat while they've been taking from me. That's between you and them. Still. Mom wiped her eyes again. They need to know. She left 20 minutes later. Still clutching the mortgage statements, I made more coffee. Sat at my tiny table. Looked at my phone. 17 new messages. I scrolled through them. Derek, Mom says you've been paying her mortgage. Kelly, is this true? Have you really been giving Mom money? Aunt Carol, your mother just called me crying. What's going on? I turned off my phone again. Thanksgiving weekend ended. I went back to work Monday morning. Made lattes, trained new employees. Restocked syrups. Normal life. Tuesday afternoon, Derek showed up. He ordered a black coffee, stood at the counter while I made it. You've been paying Mom's mortgage, he said. Yep. For 5 years. Yep. Why didn't you say anything? I handed him his coffee. $3.50. He paid Rissa. I'm serious. Why didn't you tell us? Because it wasn't your business. We're family. Family that treats me like a failure. Why would I share financial information with people who assume I'm broke? Derek looked uncomfortable. I never assumed. You literally asked if I needed career advice. You suggested I was going nowhere. I was trying to help. No, you were trying to feel superior. There's a difference. He sipped his coffee. Winstew hot. Mom says you have almost $500,000. Mom shouldn't be discussing my finances. She's shocked. We all are. Because you all assumed I was a mess? Can you blame us? You live in a studio. You work at a coffee shop. You drive a 2019 Civic. And you live with Mom rent-free. Your startup failed. His face went red. How do you know? Mom complains about it every time I visit, but I never brought it up because it's not my business and I'm not cruel. I'm paying those cards down. Good for you. And I'm helping Mom with house projects while not paying rent, groceries, or utilities. You're 34, Derek. She's supporting you, not the other way around. That's not fair. Neither is calling me a failure while you're living off Mom's generosity. Generosity I'm funding, by the way. He set down his coffee. Look, I came here to apologize. Okay, I'm sorry I judged you. I'm sorry I assumed you needed help. I'm sorry I didn't take you seriously. Apology noted. That's it, just noted. What do you want, Derek? Derek, you want me to cry and hug you and say everything's fine? It's not fine. You've been condescending to me for years. One apology doesn't fix that. Then what will fix it? Time, changed behavior. Actually, treating me like an equal instead of a charity case. He nodded slowly. Fair enough. And maybe move out of Mom's house. Start paying your own way. Show her the same support she's shown you. I'm working on it. Work faster. He left. Kelly came Wednesday. She ordered a vanilla latte with oat milk, sat at a corner table, and gestured for me to join her when my break started. I can't believe you didn't tell me, she said. Tell you what? About the money? About helping Mom? About any of it? Why would I tell you? Because I'm your sister. You're my sister who called my apartment a storage unit, who laughed when Mom mocked my career, who borrowed $15,000 from Mom and never paid it back. Kelly's jaw tightened. I'm paying that back. When I can afford to. You just spent $8,000 on a vacation to Turks and Caicos. You posted about it on Instagram. That was different. It's not different. You have money for luxury vacations, but not to pay back Mom. Who's struggling? Who I've been supporting while you take from her. I didn't know you were supporting her. Would it have changed anything if you did? She opened her mouth, closed it. Maybe. That's what I thought. Kelly stirred her latte. Mom says, you're some kind of investment genius. I'm not a genius. I just read books and made smart choices. Can you teach me why? Because clearly I'm doing something wrong. I make $90,000 a year and I'm always broke. You make $47,000 and you have $500,000. I live within my means. You don't. It's not that simple. It actually is. I drive a paid-off Honda. You lease a BMW for $600 a month, so you've been judging me too. No, I've been watching you make choices and keeping my mouth shut, unlike you, who felt entitled to comment on every aspect of my life. Kelly's eyes filled with tears. I'm sorry, okay? I'm really, really sorry. For which part? All of it. The comments. The judgment. The assumptions. I was terrible to you. Yes, you were. Can you forgive me? Eventually. Maybe. If you actually change. I will change, I promise. We'll see. She left after her break ended. That Friday, Mom called again. Can you come to dinner Sunday? She asked. Just you and me and your father? Dad had been notably absent from all of this. He worked offshore 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, and had been on his rotation during Thanksgiving. Dad's back. He got home yesterday. I told him everything. He wants to see you. Okay. What time? 6. And Marissa, I'm cooking your favorite chicken piccata. You don't have to. I want to. Sunday dinner was quiet, just the three of us at the kitchen table. Dad hugged me hard when I arrived. I'm proud of you, he said. So damn proud. Thanks, Dad. We sat. Mom served the food: chicken piccata, garlic bread, Caesar salad. She'd gone all out. This is delicious, I said. Thank you. Mom smiled a real smile. Not the tight one she usually wore. Your dad and I have been talking about a lot of things. Okay. About how we've treated you. About our priorities. About what really matters. Dad cleared his throat. We owe you an apology, both of us. Your mother especially, but me too. I should have stood up for you more. I should have called out the comparisons, the criticism, the constant judgment. Dad, you were working. That's not an excuse. You're my daughter. I should have protected you. Mom set down her fork. I've spent the last week thinking about why I treated you the way I did. And I realized Di was projecting. Projecting what? My own insecurities. My fear that losing my job meant I was a failure. I took it out on you because you seemed like an easy target. You weren't flashy. You didn't brag. You just quietly lived your life, and I convinced myself that meant you were struggling. I wasn't struggling. I know that now. But at the time, it made me feel better to think at least one of my kids needed me. Derek and Kelly seemed so independent even, though I was supporting them financially. You seemed dependent even, though you were supporting me. That's pretty backwards, I said. I know. Mom's voice cracked. And I'm so sorry. You deserved a mother who celebrated your choices, not one who mocked them. We ate in silence for a minute. I'm stopping the automatic payments, I said finally. Mom's head snapped up. What? Not to punish you, but because you need to see the statements. You need to know, every month, that I'm helping. That this is a choice I'm making out of love, not obligation. Okay, Mom said quietly. That's fair. Fair? And I need you to tell Derek and Kelly they need to contribute. Real contributions. Not promises. I already did. Derek's paying rent starting next month. $800. Kelly's paying back the $15,000 $500 a month until it's done. Good! Dad reached across the table. Squeezed my hand. You're a better person than I could have hoped for. I just did what felt right. Most people don't do what feels right when they're being treated poorly. Most people retaliate. I thought about it, I admitted. After Thanksgiving, I thought about stopping the payments. Letting you figure it out on your own, teaching you a lesson. Why didn't you? Mom asked. Because I'm not like you. I don't withhold love or support to prove a point. Mom flinched, but she nodded. You're right. That's exactly what I did to you. We finished dinner, had coffee, talked about normal things, Dad's work, my coffee shop, Mom's book club. At 9:30, I stood to leave. Mom walked me to the door. Marissa, thank you for everything. For the money, yes, but more for being the person you are. For having integrity when I didn't deserve it. You're welcome. I'll do better. I promise. I believe you. I drove home to my tiny apartment, my paid-off Honda, my simple life, checked my investment accounts before bed. Portfolio value, $489,104. Up $1,811 from last week. The mortgage payment would process tomorrow. $1,640 to keep Mom housed and secure, worth every penny. Not because she'd earned it, but because love isn't transactional, and real family shows up, even when no one's watching. Even when no one says thank you, even when they call you a failure while you're keeping their roof over their head. I closed my laptop. Turned off the lights. Tomorrow I'd make coffee. Train my team, live my simple life. The life I'd chosen, the life that made me happy, and that, I'd learned, was the real measure of success. Not the portfolio balance. Not the mortgage payments. Not the gratitude or recognition, just the quiet knowledge that I'd done the right thing. Even when no one knew. Especially when no one knew. That was worth more than $489,104. That was worth everything.